I've actually been gone for a little bit, so I decided that I was probably not going to do card reveals, but there's been a ton of new cards coming out for Heatwave Arena, including this beautiful Cynthia's Roserade and the Cynthia's Garchomp. I'm sure you guys have seen that as well. So today I'm going to look at these cards in a competitive setting and kind of just talk about my thoughts on them. Nothing too long, maybe just a little bit of a quick blurb. Obviously, these aren't my first thoughts on a lot of these because I have seen a lot of these cards ahead of time. They were revealed actually at the Champions League where I was in Fukuoka. If you guys want to check that out, there is a video of a vlog and a tournament report of that as well. So if you guys like this, please like and subscribe. It is my responsibility to kind of inform you guys on some of these newer cards, these competitive cards, kind of what they do for the metagame, what I think will come of it, because this will be our NAIC set, which means it will be one of our most impactful sets heading to NAIC Worlds moving forward. So if you guys are heading to those tournaments, it's important. Kicking off, we have Cynthia's Roselia. So we have a lot of the partner Pokemon coming up again. Nothing here to write home about. The Cynthia's Roserade, this is a beautiful art, by the way. You can really tell that there's a lot of emotion poured into this Cynthia being drawn. It's very pretty, and then the Roserade just like vibing. It's like a me and who kind of thing, you know. But Cynthia's Roserade, 130 HP, stage 1 ability, Glory Cheer. Your Cynthia's Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. And the attack is Grass colors, 80 damage. So basically, it's a plus 30 modifier for all of your Cynthia's Pokemon, which seems pretty good. The Hop modifiers were pretty good in theory, but I don't think they actually carried their weight the way they were supposed to. So I'm interested to see the rest. Cynthia's Gibble, there's a little guy, 70 HP, Rock Hurl, 20 damage, not affected by resistance. Cynthia's Gabite, 100 HP. Champion's Call, once during your turn, you may search your deck for a Cynthia's Pokemon revealed and put it into your hand. So basically, the Cynthia's engine searches the Cynthia's engine out. You get a couple of Gabites up and running. Turn 1 Poffin into the Gibbles. Turn 2, or maybe like Poffin Evo. Turn 1 into like Gabites. And then turn 2, you have 2 Gabites searching for the Pokemon you need. So basically, you can go into the Garchomp. You can go get your Roselia, your Roserade if you need to. You can set up other pieces, other parts of the engine, whatever the engine may be. But seems like a pretty strong card, all things considered. Obviously, we'll see it in a second here, but Bench Barrier was revealed, which makes this card significantly better because until now, I think the post rotation format that you guys will have to endure, including myself, is that the problem is there's no Bench Barrier, so you're gonna have to deal with Ogerpon being just an absolute menace to society. And then we have Cynthia's Garchomp EX, 330 HP, absolute behemoth of a Pokemon, and has a 1 energy attack here, which is wonderful already off the rip. Corkscrew Dive, 100 damage, discard or draw until you have 6 in hand. A pretty good refilling attack, especially if you just want to poke into something to kind of 2-shot it. Like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of 1-shots in this upcoming format unless there's weakness involved. So being able to poke into something and refill your hand seems quite good because it's part of the engine itself. And then you can play cards like Turo and pick it back up. Does this have no retreat? No, it has 1 retreat. Okay. Wait. This says 1 retreat, but this says no retreat. So I'm going to assume the picture on the card is correct. And Cynthia's Garchomp actually has no retreat, which also makes this even more versatile to just move around and like get to a new Garchomp if you need to. Like, for example, the Gabite engine just searches the whole thing itself. So you can chain between the Garchomps and then go into like a Turo and clean up one of your Garchomps at some point because your opponents just have a very difficult time dealing with it. Then we have Fighting Dragon Blaster for 260 and discard all energy from this Pokemon, which also seems quite strong. 260 seems like quite a lot of damage. And I think we've already talked about in the I'm like reversing the reveals, obviously, but the Fighting Electro Power comes through. So Dragon Blaster plus like a couple of Electro Powers or Fighting Electro Powers means we can one shot a lot of these big threats in the format, the big EXs. Maybe like a Vitality Bend in there to go to 270. 270 plus 60 puts us at 330. 330 puts us at enough damage to knock out a rival Cynthia's Garchomp, a Charizard EX. Some of these bigger threats that maybe lingering in the format. 260 is big enough to deal with pretty much every baby EX in the format as well. Quite good, actually. This card seems quite good. Then we have Cynthia's Spiritomb, Raging Curse, 10 damage for each damage counter on your bench Cynthia's Pokemon. So I guess if like your Cynthia's Garchomp gets poked into by something, it doesn't one-shot it, and you retreat and you can heal out. The Cynthia Spiritomb could be like a late game cleanup, a 1 prize attacker. I actually don't hate this because it seems like you have such big guys that there's a chance that Cynthia Spiritomb can just be a 1 energy attacker that swings the prize rate back in your favor, or can do a surprise one-shot on your opponent. I actually think this card is pretty good. Then we have Cynthia's Power Weight, giving our Pokemon 70 HP. Okay, that's really funny to have a 400 HP Garchomp. That's really funny to have a 400 HP Garchomp, so I like that quite a bit. But the problem is I don't know if we need it in the grand scheme of things. I think it's like probably better to just do damage and be offensive. that defensive, but we'll see. Um, this set comes out in 2 weeks. We'll have a full set review soon. So let's look at some of the other cards that were revealed over the course of the last couple days. We have Ethan's Pinsir. Um, it has 1 point return, 70 plus 100 if your Ethan's Pokemon were knocked out last turn. 170 for 3 colors is pretty weak, but it does take care of a Garchomp. Being able to power this up does seem like quite an issue, however, so I think it's like okay. And then we have Ethan Sudowoodo that has Impound, which is like a lock, like a saw block basically. And then Attempt to Mimicry, flip a coin if heads, choose one of your opponent's attacks and use it as its attack. Just so unreliable as an attack. Obviously, I just don't think it's playable. The biggest card I think that was revealed, I think that's huge for the metagame, is the Shaman. Shaman has Bench Barrier. Flower Curtain, I guess, is the new ability. I think the funniest thing to me is like every like couple sets, they'll pick a new little guy to be like, hey, you're the new little guy, the designated little guy to protect all of our guys. Like we had Mew, the Bench Barrier Mew, into Mr. Mime, which was like a little bit of a scary little guy, but Mime was like twice, I guess. Like we used Mime twice, maybe at some point in its lifetime, and then we were like, okay, hey, Manaphy, you're the new designated guy, and now it's Shaman. So we have these designated little guys to come in and basically protect our bench, which I quite like. Big things to note that Shaman is 80 HP, so it can't be Poffin searchable, which does make it quite annoying, I think, in your setup process because a lot of decks want to be able to just Poffin and get their setup going. So you need to have like an additional count of Nest Balls or something like that to find the Shaman. And then the important part about the new Bench Barrier or Flower Curtain is that it prevents all damage done to bench Pokemon without a rule box. So basically, a rule box Pokemon are still liable to these snipe attacks and things of that nature. However, the most bench Pokemon in this format currently have Terra ability, which means that they are immune to bench damage and snipes, which was so incredibly irrelevant up until rotation, where now this bench damage becomes incredibly more relevant. So now your Terra Pokemon are a lot safer on the bench, even with the Shaman. But this does put like Cynthia's Garchomp, for example, or some of these other EXs or support Pokemon that may be coming out as we move forward past the Terra era. Past the Terra era, then will just be more susceptible to bench damage and sniping. So those rule box Pokemon are no longer as privileged to be alive from these snipe attacks. Then we have Misty's, Staryu, and Starmie. So more Misty's package Pokemon coming through. Bubble Beam, 20 and they're paralyzed, and then Sudden Flash, if this evolved from this turn, just 140. So I think this is like an okay attack, all things considered, but evolving is not the greatest, especially in this format. I think that's everything. I think I pretty much looked at some of the newer cards. We can look at the illustration rare Garchomp. It just looks so absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning in terms of like everything it has to offer. Really like this card. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of money on this. But yeah, that's the newer cards that we've been revealed. Oh, I think Ponytail and Rapidash. Let me do these. This one just has a draw card ability on the bench. Really good for cubes and stuff. I think just a bad attacker overall in general. Doesn't even have any like partner Pokemon associated with it. But I'm pretty excited for the new set. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of interesting stuff. I'll be going to CL Miyagi as well, so I'll be able to play these new cards over there. I'll be the first to try. I mean, I still have like city leagues and stuff, but I'll be one of the first people to try this out in a competitive regional setting. I'm pretty excited for that. So we'll get half of our NAIC set up and coming. Remember, like and subscribe. Someone also mentioned my Discord. I do have a Discord. It's in the description. If you guys want to join, be a part of the community, I have a bunch of subscription links as well. You guys can use those as well to kind of help out the channel. Just affiliate links, bookmark Amazon, bookmark TCG Player. Check those out when you're buying your new cards or buying something for yourself or your home. So thank you so much and peace out.